Blues medal in 2010 is to Scott Emery.
Border Barrels coming to you live from the studio of Death Valley in here.
It's hot.
It's pretty hot, but it's good. It'll force honesty, I think, and it'll force the truth.
Is Death Valley a tourist place?
Yeah.
You guys have both been to America.
Yeah.
I went.
So it's a place you actually go.
Well, yeah. Like we did because we drove from Vegas to Mammoth Lakes, which is near Yosemite, so you kind of have to go through there.
Okay.
One of the hottest places in the world, I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the week before we were there, it like recorded the hottest. It was like 52 or something silly. Don't quote me on that.
Anyway, very good. So we're back doing a random episode. So, not really a random episode, but we just had the AFL Draft. And the boys are itching to tell you about it, and I'm itching to probably stay out of it, as I don't know anything about it. So,
Well, these are the stars of tomorrow, so you just need to remember the name.
Yeah,
Well,
this is a prime chance for you to remember a couple of names, and then in 5
And then
years'
just
time,
hold
if
on
we're
to 'em.
still doing the podcast, you'll be like, I remember when that guy got drafted number 2 to...
yeah, bloody
Bulldogs.
Technically
Rhett Bazzo.
correct.
Rhett Bazzo is a favourite of mine. 37.
No, that's coming up later. Simon's top 5 names
and
of the draft.
Chad Kroger's little brother's in there as well, so I can't wait to talk about him.
Little teaser there from
All right.
Simon.
Well, what he's doing? How are you doing it?
Well, I thought we'd go, rather than list every draft pick, because how many draft picks did we have? 80-something, is it, normally?
It was around, I think,
65?
live picks was around the 60-odd. Then the rookie draft had a few more, but there weren't a lot of... most of the rookie draft this year was recycled players that were just being re-put onto their team's list, and a couple of guys. But the last 2 years have actually been smaller draft classes, and that is COVID-related. The teams generally haven't been too sure, which is probably a bit of an indictment on the AFL and their organisation, what the list sizes will be going into each year. So teams aren't trying to take as many picks as they can. So
For everyone at home, Simon, can you just remind them how big a list is?
It's at least, let's say, 30 players.
That's pretty good. Zach, what do you got?
That's 44, around about.
Is it actually?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Well, 30's closer
you
to
can-
44 than 100, so good on you.
You can max out to 44,
Okay,
I believe.
yeah, cool.
Is that current COVID numbers? Has it been bigger or less because of COVID? Because they keep saying we don't know where it's going to go, but have they changed?
Well, might have been 46
Right.
at one point, maybe. Or they keep saying, it's possible it's going to be cut less. Like, I don't know. But these days you've also got your supplementary picks. Like, I don't know if it's called that. It's Powerball, isn't it? But
And your supplementary numbers for tonight?
and
42.
imagine if there was a Powerball player. So that in the draft, the last one, it's like, and the Powerball.
No, imagine if the draft was like Powerball. So there's 100 players, and it's like, righto, next up, North Melbourne. And they draw a number, and it's like, 52, you get Rhett Bazzo.
Well, isn't that what the NBA's like? Or is that just
Oh,
the top?
no, they do the lottery, and then the team picks the player. I'm saying if the AFL's like, righto, we've picked out number 52, like North has number 1 pick, they get some dud.
Or, so they do the
They
draft.
get me out of the human.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they do the draft and all that sort of thing. Then they have like the super special Powerball. And you're like, rightio, bloody, who's the shittest team? North Melbourne. Oh, no offense.
Well,
North
after
Melbourne.
the first season of our pod, I think you mean offence.
Yeah. It's like North Melbourne. You get Dustin Martin. He plays for you now.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
just...
yeah.
Well, I think they tried that a couple of years ago.
They did try that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
threw him all the money.
Then they tried hard on DeGoey.
Oh,
I think that's a big Denoe now, but
Yeah, we'll leave that for another time once all that's finalised. We don't want to do
goodness.
too much speculation. But yeah, what I was thinking is we go team by team rather than pick by pick, because then we can go into a team and, for example, first cab off the rank would be Adelaide if we're going off alphabetical order. And they drafted Josh Rochelle, Jake Saligo, and Zach Taylor. And I was thinking what we do as a group, and by group I mean Zach and I, because Simo knows nothing about any of the players I'm going to talk about. We discuss who we think will make the most impact straight away. Because the thing is, like, Adelaide, for example, you would suggest Josh Rochelle at pick 6, but based on NAB form, I would say Zach Taylor at pick 44. And we love Zach Taylor.
We do like Zach Taylor, and I think I mentioned Zach Taylor on our last pod. I said, the draft is coming up, and who I hope Hawthorn pick. I think he was one of the names that I mentioned.
I think, yeah, because there was times where it was like he's definitely top 20, could be top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, because he something silly was that he averaged around 30 touches, but it was like 140 ranking points.
Yeah.
And then that was like the highest or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he only went under 27 touches once.
Very false.
Incredibly similar story to Caleb Daniel. So Zach Taylor's another small player who's generally really good by foot and a smart, crafty player. Everyone thought Caleb Daniel, highest ranked player in his draft year for ranking points and disposals, all that sort of stuff. Slipped to pick 45. Taylor, same thing, slipped all the way to the mid-40s. Somehow, all his clubs passed over him. So.
Well, I tell you what, he was mid-40s because Essendon was coming up at pick 46 and pick 44 rolled around, and in my head I saw Arlo Draper and I saw Zach Taylor. I'm like, come on. And
I'm telling you, it would have been worse if they were available and then you still didn't pick it.
yeah, no. Just quickly to give you an idea of how hot it is in here, I've just felt a bead of sweat drop down my shin.
Oh, front of the shin.
Yeah, the old front shin
Jeez,
sweat.
at the
So-
front of
The original shinny roller.
Yeah. Not the one made famous by Syme at local soccer in Wagga back in the day.
2 goals.
2 goals from Shinny Rolls. Shinny Rolls score the goals.
Yeah, they do.
That's coming on a shirt. Coming on a shirt.
Come
That is coming to a shirt soon.
Just anything that's coming around shirts. No.
We can put it in splooge font.
Gosh. But yeah, so I think we're saying Zach Taylor, not that Josh Rochelle won't be good for Adelaide, but I think Zach Taylor comes in, and those high ball winning numbers at NAB league level tend to translate not completely to AFL level.
No, you don't
but
just forget how to win the ball.
yeah, like you're not going to go from you're not going to go from 30 to 0.
No.
Whereas like Josh Rochelle, he's a lot more of your like he's clean, but he doesn't win the ball as much, and he's kind of a small forward mid hybrid.
Well, maybe to sort of like
situation.
help Syme out with this too. Like every now and then, Josh Rochelle, a top 10 pick.
Number 6, in fact.
Syme, he's likened to Toby Green and Robbie Gray.
Oh,
Like that sort of player.
Toby, it isn't
Not belting the umpires.
Oh, right, yeah. That's that guy.
That's
though,
that
isn't it?
guy.
Yeah, right.
But as a player, that's sort of what he's going to offer the Crows. And they haven't had a
So-
player like that on their list, and they needed one.
So are you suggesting that Rochelle, when they get to the finals, is just going to shit the bed? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, if they get to
If
finals,
Adelaide can get to finals, I'm still not. So I've still got to be my bottom few next year. Adelaide. I think I'll be okay after that.
I don't think. I think they get out of the bottom 3 this year.
Okay.
Just what they needed was a good, solid halfback, and they brought that in, Jordan Dawson.
That's true.
And then they've got some really highly touted picks. They've still got, whether you rate him or not, the young fella from GWS, Jackson Haitley.
Yeah.
And one that everyone forgets or doesn't forget, Matt Crouch, still to come in.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
And Tex Walker might be back after his whole ordeal with his racist comment.
he'll get booed until he retires. But he's probably got 1 year left anyway.
Yeah, but 1 year of Tex
Yeah.
Walker is better than 1 year without Tex Walker at this stage
Well,
for them.
last year, well, the season just gone. It's looked like that, but yeah. But anyway,
But yeah, if we incorporate a bit of trade period news as well, Jordan Dawson coming across is massive.
that'll be helpful.
I think Adelaide get outside that bottom 3, not by much, probably
Bottom 4.
like a 15th. No, how many? Yeah, that's it.
Might win more games, but it's going to be
Yeah.
an even season. So yeah.
They're not beating Melbourne again. I'll tell you that for free.
No.
Next up, Brisbane. They didn't have a stinker per se, but they're in a situation where their list is so good that whenever they pick a player, people are like, oh yeah, but did they need Darcy Wilmot? And it's like, no, they don't need Darcy Wilmot. But if you've got pick 16,
Yeah.
you pick who you think is the best player.
I've got a little bit of insight into this, whether you believe what people say online, but I had no reason not to believe this person.
In my experience, you believe everything you read online.
Good. Well, in that case,
It's a safe space.
Someone was saying that they were lucky enough to actually attend Brisbane's draft function on the night.
Yep.
And were talking to one of the recruiters afterwards about the way they go about it, because as I'm sure you might understand with basketball, the argument of needs-based versus best available talent.
Yes.
And generally, even your first pick, it's meant to be best available talent. Brisbane are at the point where they went, nope, we're going to look at a player, and if we think that he's going to fit a particular need for us, we'll go him.
Yeah.
So I reckon that they knew, for example, their midfield was stacked, and there were other midfielders that might end up being better players over their career than Darcy Wilmot, but they knew that what he's going to offer, which is sort of like a Braden Maynard, Rory Laird, I think.
When you mention that, for example, so you look at it like they're not looking at drafting a player that's going to instantly change their team. They're not looking at these guys like in 2022, we're winning the grand final because Darcy Wilmot and Kyle Oman are in. What they're looking at is they're looking at their half-back line or a back pocket and seeing this rebounding defender in Darcy Wilmot and going, hey, Daniel Rich is an older fella. Marcus Adams probably isn't as young and he's injury-plagued. Get this guy in. Same as Kyle Oman compared to like a Dane Zorko type. Dane Zorko's old.
True, and Kyle Oman, he was like in a lot of fandoms around about 40 to 50.
Yeah.
As a pick. And then where did he end up going?
20. Up to 20.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's one of those things where they're looking at their current list and going, hey, he's probably done in X amount of years. He's done in Y amount of years. That'll be a perfect time for Darcy Wilmot and Kyle Oman to step up. Or exactly what happened this year where Tom Joyce sat in their VFL team and then he's gone to Freo, I believe. Is he training with Freo or West Coast?
Oh, geez.
There's a few Brisbane VFL players that left.
Yeah, okay.
So are you saying that's not usually how the draft's done? Normally they go for best available talent?
Not every team does, but like I'm sure every sport's got their own, and teams are at different points in their rebuilds. But
I find it interesting because in the NBA, I can see why you would, because you can just trade anyone at any time and no one has to agree and whatever else. But in AFL, people have to agree to it. So if you do have a stacked midfield and you go, best available talent is a midfielder, then it's probably a silly move.
Well, it's funny that I just thought of this with your can say no and yes. Zach pointed out the two key factors of drafting were best available talent or need. There's a third factor that was prominent this year are they local?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'd love to pick, like Richmond, for example, I don't know if it was available at the time, but they were really keen on Jai Amos, who's a full forward out of Perth. But it's like, is he going to want to go back to Perth in 2 years when his rookie contract's up?
Yeah, right.
So that's a new factor that probably hasn't been accounted for and has only really come up recently. Like we've seen it with Chera and we've seen it with... Name another player.
Well, Tom Boyd, somewhat.
Yeah,
like he was at GWS for 2 years. He's like, I'd like to.
Zach Williams.
Yeah,
was one. But yeah, there's there's that as well. But
with someone we mentioned, Jordan Dawson.
Yeah,
yeah,
wanted to go back. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Simon. It's like in the NBA they do, but there's only 5 positions in the NBA as well, and it's so fluid in today's NBA that they do take best available.
Yeah.
Whereas in the AFL, there's 5 lines plus your followers, but within that there's 3 in each line. So there's so many different things, and it's not fluid. It's not like LeBron can play point guard to center, like he's a phenomenon. But like imagine Kyle Oman, they draft him as a small forward, and they're like, could you just jump in the ruck this week?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I found it interesting. So whether I misunderstood, Brisbane were doing it differently by going by need.
Wasn't it? Yeah. I think more so. When they interview most recruiters, they always say, first pick, you always take best available talent.
Yeah.
So this person was speaking to a Brisbane recruiter who said, no, we're doing it a bit different. And this is the way I've sort of looked at it as a Hawthorn supporting, wanting us to draft midfielders for the last few years, which we finally did. But I sort of thought like, okay, if you've got, let's say Hawthorn's backline's great, which it was. Well, I think it is, with our tall defensive stocks. There was a tall defender that we could have grabbed with our first pick, and we might have rated him the same as the guy that we ended up getting, but he was a midfielder that fit a need for us.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, even if you rate the defender slightly higher, the need for that midfielder might be far greater, which means that's the best option to pick anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but not every club does it that way. Some just go, best available, bang, done.
Yeah, well, I can tell you as an Essendon fan, I don't think we went best available.
No.
I think they went with need.
Yeah, okay. But actually, sorry, before we move on to Carlton, the best...
No, well, I was going to say, who do you think comes in and changes Brisbane enough to warrant a most impactful player?
I'm going to say Lohmann, only because it's only going to take a soft tissue injury to Dane Zorko or Charlie Cameron for him to, I think, if he plays well in the reserves, for him to get a go.
I think it's Lohmann as well, only because Darcy Wilmot, you're trying to fit into
We're behind Rich to start with.
It's a deep back line.
And I think Wilmot was actually almost as young as you could be to be available for the draft.
Well, he was too young to have beers on when he got drafted. He wasn't 18 yet.
He was drinking Pepsi Maxes, he said.
Yeah, a few Pepsi Max with the boys. One of the best post-draft interviews, like as soon as he got drafted, he was in there with all the lads drinking Pepsi Max.
Oh, good.
Ah.
Eh?
Ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Lohman as well. It's just I see more opportunity.
Yeah.
And Tunstall.
The next one's going to
don't worry
be
about him.
well. Tunstall. No, I was going to say with Tunstall, I actually watched a couple of the South Australia WA sort of inter squad games that they played, and he was actually really good. He's just a good balanced midfielder, but they thought he could be a rookie pick, and Brisbane rated him pick 41.
But they've listed here hardworking, ball-winning midfield, which Brisbane are certainly not lacking.
True, but he can play inside out. Actually, this you're going to be like, but he reminded me a lot of Harry Morrison from Hawthorn. Just a good, neat player. I just chalk up 50 games before you've realised.
He also reminds me of Harry Morrison because I've never seen either of them.
Fair enough.
Carlton, this is easy, Simon. I reckon you can pick who's going to be the most impactful from their draft class.
Can I?
Yep, because they only took one player.
So yeah, okay. Why is that? They only had one pick, or they traded picks?
I think they traded picks. I don't want to
Do they
confirm,
upgrade
but I
people?
assume they...
You need to take 3 minimum, so I think they upgraded to
So the Blues only needed to make one draft day selection as both Matt Kennedy and Josh Honey were elevated to the senior list, which resulted in them using their 3 required.
So they brought them up from the other league and said that we're going.
These are our picks.
These are our picks.
They're already on their list, but what they do is they delist them and then re-rookie them.
But is that a smart move? Because they're there. You can pick those guys anyway.
Yeah.
The draft's an opportunity to pick some
you
dudes
can
you
only
probably
spend
wouldn't.
X amount of time on the rookie list, so maybe they've already been on the rookie list, and if you don't upgrade them, they leave the club. That's
right.
I think
Yeah,
in Matt Kennedy's case, he was primary list. They've then delisted him and put him back on the rookie list.
And saving money.
The rookie list doesn't actually count towards your full salary cap.
Which Gold Coast tried to do with Hugh Greenwood, and the day before the draft, when they were meant to be... they delisted him and said, we'll re-rookie you, save money. He's come back from an ACL. Day before the draft, North went, hey, you know what? Why don't we offer you this huge contract and you just come to us?
And he said, okay.
And he's like, yep, no worries. And Gold Coast are like, fuck.
Yeah.
Especially considering he's their second best player behind Took Miller.
And he used to play NBL.
Did he?
Which we're watching. He played for... Did he play for Perth?
Don't know.
Or I'm saying that because they're on the television. Are you saying the lamp because you can see the lamp? It's one of those.
But yeah, so back on track. Carlton picked Jesse Motlop.
You might replace Eddie Betts.
Terrible haircut.
Is it a mullet?
No, it was like a big bowl cut from memory. It was real tough.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
like their
and
bowl
the
cuts.
middle part.
Yeah.
Bit of a middle part action. But he'll replace Eddie
weird.
Betts. He'll be like the Eddie Betts / depends how high you rate Michael Gibbons replacement.
Michael Gibbons going to Yarrawonga Pigeons.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good on him.
Signed.
Good on him. Maybe they'll come second.
Maybe.
No, they won't win. It's Albury. Albury's going to win.
Yeah. All right.
Aubrey always wins. It's inevitable. Carlton was an easy one. Collingwood had a few picks. Now,
I think it's going to be Nick Dacos, just straight up.
yeah, early signs suggest Nick Dacos, but I think, based on what I've seen, I think Arlo Draper could be a very good footballer.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really... He was ranked around the top 20 as well. And
he did his
yeah.
shoulder in that Vic Country game.
But generally he's from South Australia. So
what
maybe
game was it then? The South Australia, West Australia
Yeah,
game.
he didn't play in the last one, I think, because I think he might have injured it at some point.
There was a game that one of them played that something happened.
Yeah. But he, just not quite on the Rochelle level, but regarded as someone that can push through the midfield but clever up forward. So interesting to see how he goes, considering he fell a little bit. Cooper Murley's one of those sort of hardworking, sort of like those guys that, like, if he ever becomes best 22, at least you know what you're going to get from him every week.
Yeah.
You need those sorts of players. And then here's a name that is a bit underrated for saying, it's not a real funny name, but their last draft pick that they got, I feel like it sounds like a superhero name that's the name of the guy before he turns into the superhero. Harvey Harrison.
Yeah, it's the alliteration.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, but the main character's name is Wade Watts, and he's like, my dad named me Wade because it's like WW sounds like a superhero.
Yeah, exactly.
So every time I see it, it's
Is
true.
Tom Cruise in that?
No.
No, that's T and C. It's two different.
What do you mean? Did you think he was genuinely, or was that a joke?
I haven't seen it.
Nah, he's not.
I haven't seen it, just like I didn't see the draft. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, keep going.
But yeah, my big call on this is I don't think Nick Dacos lives up to the hype.
No,
I'm not saying he'll be bad, but I think, like, what did we see from Josh Dacos that really went, oh my goodness?
Yeah.
Except that one goal of the year that.
Here's the thing with Nick, and it's so funny. So I'm going to credit Forgotten Stars on Instagram for this, but Nick, I think might already have a few tickets on himself. Apparently, he's already got a Cameo page, but he hadn't even.
Oh,
drafted
that's
yet.
a huge call.
Yeah.
We don't even have a Cameo page, and we have a very successful podcast.
Yeah, we do.
He was he was also the only player that that was one of the father sons that went to the photo shoot that wasn't wearing like a polo of his under 18 club. He just was like, Nike, I'm sponsored by Nike. I was wearing my Nike stuff.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, and also he averaged 40 touches or something crazy like that in the NAB League, but there was a bunch of games where he laid 0 tackles. And Forgotten Stars put up once great stats. Maybe shouldn't have sacked his tackling coach though, because like every week it was like 42 touches, 0 tackles. It's like 39 touches, 2 goals, 0 tackles. But we'll see how that translates to.
So we were saying this with Zach Taylor. I don't think the touches, they'll drop. They won't be 42.
No.
But I think the tackling's worrying.
He'll probably get better because I'll do a bunch of it at
but
training.
You got to get in. You got to prove yourself somewhere.
Yeah, and if you want a good example, Collingwood are putting a lot of eggs in the basket of Nick Dacos. They want more than what Brad Hill is now. So there's evidence of a player who's classy, doesn't tackle, do anything physical, and he's been a great player over his career, one of best and fairest. But I think they're expecting a lot more.
Yeah.
So we'll just sort of see how that one evolves.
Right.
Yeah. You excited?
Next one. Yeah, I'm disinterested by our picks. Essendon next. Ben Hobbs, massive. That's awesome. Ben Hobbs comes in.
A Joel Selwood type, Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he plays straight away, even in a very stacked midfield. I think they've got that. This is all the eggs in the basket. This is Ben Hobbs is the future of the Essendon Football Club pick.
Yeah, right. Huge.
I'll call that now. It's like Ben Hobbs is our.
He looks like he's going to be one of those good, solid 300 game players.
Like he's our James Hurd. He'll be a cult leader.
Okay.
He'll be a captain.
No, I think he's.
He'll be the next captain.
I think the Joel Selwood. I just hope he doesn't have the controversy.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's a tough word.
It's a tough gig.
Where is it?
The controversy.
Just going out the sympathy for you.
Controversial.
Controversial career that
Yeah.
Selwood has had with the. Does he duck? Is he cheat? Whatever. But I'm excited by Alistair Lord.
Yes, I agree. I do agree, but this was one of those ones. It kind of comes back to what Brisbane did.
Yep.
It was like, does Alistair Lord get a gig at halfback for Essendon straight away? Because as the last 2 years, even when Sard was there, we had probably the best halfback line in the comp, but it's up there.
Well, McKenna was
2 years ago.
well.
It was Sard and McKenna as the rebounding halfbacks, and then last year it was Hind, who was incredible,
Yep.
and Dyson Heppel, who was equally as incredible but very unsung in the way he went about it. Not many
Also
people.
not a line breaker. Alistair Lord's a line breaker.
Yeah, but that's what Nick Hines doing. Jordan Ridley's an incredible kick if he plays in a back pocket or a full back position. Even if they push him up to a centre half back, which I don't think they do. I think they put a bigger body in there, like an Aaron Francis kind of position. But yeah, I think Lord will be good. I worry when he will be good. Same as Garrett McDonough.
Now, I was
actually
going to
does.
say, before you said his name, though, I wanted to lead it in for Simon. Now,
Oh, you've got this.
the best part of this was, and I've written this down as well. On the night, Hudson messaged me before Essendon had their next pick and said,
I think it was before pick 46 as well.
It's like, watch Dodoro just like pass up on a really good young player and pick some old bloke with no one's ever heard of. And then they get to pick 50, was it?
Yep.
And it was Garrett McDonough. That's even an old bloke name.
Yeah, Garrett's pretty old.
Yeah.
The only information on Garrett McDonough pre-draft is his 2014 pre-draft workout, because he nominated for the draft in 2014 and didn't get picked.
So how old is he? Like 30?
Nah, so I think he's
25,
like 24, 25. Like, he's an older player, but he's been really good in the VFL. Like, having watched video of him play, I'm not unhappy.
Lethal left foot.
Like,
Yeah.
could stand 50 metres away and he'll like ping it.
With a blindfold on, he'd hit you on the chest.
Hit
Straight
the
on the
center
chin.
of your chest. Like,
Yeah.
put it, he'll kick it through you.
But it was just hilarious because when it popped up, they were like, "Oh, they didn't have a photo of him.
Like,
they had no information."
But like, they know who they're gonna pick. Get a photo.
No, but
ring
I
him up.
I don't think they did. I think he just like, technically he's allowed to get picked, but everyone was like, why the fuck? Like, it's like, he's the
Y'all laughed at me.
he's the prime mid-season draft.
Yeah, but who knows?
Oh, well, like, after seeing the additions of him, like, they're saying will rival Caleb Daniel and Jaden Shaw as the best kick in the comp.
Yeah.
And seeing his stats, if he can get on the pitch, yes. Not
Yeah.
seeing his stats, seeing his video.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also brought in Jake Kelly in the trade period,
Yep.
which was huge for us.
Oh,
That's
and
an awesome pick.
young Voss that you got in the
Yeah, Patrick, that's not on here, but I think, I'm saying Ben Hobbs is a guy that's going to impact us straight away. But Patrick Voss is a big boy.
I'm going to say McDonough is going to be the one that impacts the most straight away because you don't recruit a mature age player to be like, you're still playing VFL.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Like he
that's a
knows
fair
what
point.
he knows what he's doing.
They already know what he's doing. And mature age guys like don't go from being like 25 touches, 10 tackles to coming into the AFL and getting 2 touches. Like they generally have the same output.
Well, you see, like, all the kids that came in from the VFL and the mid-season draft this year, Jai Newcomb, Lucky Bramble, was he mid-season?
He was right before the season started. We got him as a last pick, but he was injured. Then he came in late.
Sam Durham
Big
for
mature
Essendon
age,
was
yeah.
good. Like, there's all these guys that, I do agree with you, but when I went through the list of Essendon, I was like, where the fuck do I get him in? Especially, as I said, I really like Hind.
You'll have an injury somewhere and he'll play.
No doubt.
yeah, the
this
team-
this one's actually really interesting because they had 3 really high picks, but Fremantle.
There's a interesting young man name amongst these, so for Freo.
Yeah, who you got?
Their second pick at pick 10.
Erasmus.
No, his first name.
Neil.
Oh, Neil.
For a young bloke.
Neil.
Yeah, I spoke little baby Neil.
I think it's the first Neil that's been drafted since the early 90s, maybe.
That's pretty
Earlier,
crazy.
I reckon.
Yeah,
Gotta be.
interesting. Yeah, the last Neil that's played. In
Or is-
But,
Or
like,
is this
not
like-
Neil Danaher.
Or is this like the first, like how Hudson's the first Hudson? Is that argument? Oh,
Have you
alright.
fucking come up with anything?
We've been calling some people. We're
Yeah,
trying to
well,
get it sorted.
as of now, I'm still the first Hudson.
I emailed nameberry.com and they have not gotten back to me yet.
well.
Because they're worried. They're like, fuck, it
Yeah,
is.
They're just working through it as we speak.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I had Fremantle as the big winners. I knew that.
Okay.
Interesting name, Jai Amos. Simon, he's a forward that actually doesn't miss.
Never misses.
Well, he'd want to hope that nothing
Never
happens.
lost. Never lost.
Because
Yeah.
if something bad happens, it's like something's going to miss with Jai.
So here's what we talked about before with picking players from their home state. Matthew Johnson, Jai Amos, and Neil Erasmus, all WA boys.
Yep.
Matthew Johnson, the very interesting one. There was rumours Hawthorn would take him at pick 7, and then everyone just assumed that West Coast, again being a Perth boy, and they needed midfielders, would take him at pick 12. He slipped through the first round, meaning that he didn't get picked out in the first night. Had to wait 24 hours
Jeez.
to know what was going to happen. Apparently, it was very somber because he was actually at a draft event. And
yeah, it didn't get
I
picked.
fucking, you really worry about them because the prime example of that, NBA.
Yeah.
Remember, Bowl
Yeah.
got Manute Bowl's
Manute
son.
Bol- I was going to say it was a
Yeah,
Minute's mate.
Minute's son got invited to the green room, which is typically projected lottery picks, so top 14 picks. He ended up going in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
And the poor
so
kid's
strange.
sitting there, everyone's gone home, they're done, and he's just sitting there waiting.
Did he end up being shit?
No, he comes off the bench and he's like a per 36 stat god.
Is he
'Cause
11
he
foot 10?
Yeah, he's like 7 foot.
7'4".
He plays like 5 minutes a game and has 4 points, 2 rebounds. And when I say per 36, what they do is they go, if you've played 6 minutes, all your stats in that 6 minutes, you times it by 6. So, for example, Boban Marjanovic, who Simo loves,
Yeah.
big 7 foot. You've seen Boban.
Yeah.
He, when he was at the Spurs, played like 2 minutes a game, but would have like 3 rebounds and 2 points. So the math, you times that by 18. So he averaged per 36 points and
Yeah,
54
okay.
rebounds.
Yeah,
So I was
right.
like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Play him more. But that's not how it works out. But
No, of course not. But
yeah, but
Moneyball.
I hate like that poor kid's just sitting there like, yeah, fucking can't wait to get picked. It's like, come back tomorrow.
well, he'll be good. The only-
Especially because it's the next day. NBA at least is all in one day.
I think it's only speculative because he played a couple of reserves games in the WAFL and barely touched the footy against the bigger
Waffles.
bodies. Yeah, the waffles. But yeah, now Freo did a great job, and I'm going to say straight up, it'll be Erasmus.
Yep.
big body. He's also one of the younger boys from the draft pool. But I think in Erasmus and Johnson, they have got some long-term replacements for Fife and Mundy.
Yep, big time. Oh, well,
Yep.
immediate replacement for Erasmus immediately replaces Chera.
Oh, and
But-
Chera as well.
so-
but,
I've got a tie for Erasmus and a miss. And
Yep.
the reason I say this is because Erasmus comes in for Chera, but Amos comes in because Rory Lobb and Matt Taberner can't stay on the park.
no, they can't.
So Amos, if he doesn't play straight away, will slowly come in. The only curveball in that is I forgot Sam Sturt exists, and he could be.
Yeah, he might be, but yeah, he's got to stop doing his ankle.
Yeah, true.
Right.
But yeah, I think Neil Erasmus is your big one there. Now Geelong, Simon, this is one of your James Willis. Google
Can you
him.
please
Have a
Google
look at it.
James Willis, Geelong.
And tell me that James Willis has been drafted not to play football, but to do their books.
He's working in admin.
Oh, I heard about this guy. Yes. How good.
That's very, like they've obviously
Photo
seen him
should be
play.
here somewhere.
Yeah, nah, it's usually right here.
Over that way.
Yep, down here. I've got the
Ooh,
photo.
look at him.
Well,
What do
with
you
his little
mean?
glasses.
What is this guy?
Well, at least we know that he, like, you know, he'll be sitting around, they'll be like kicking the footy and that sort of thing. He'll be doing everyone's taxes and that sort of stuff. So that'll be handled.
At least
no
they
one
all-
will go broke, you know.
Exactly. They all know that their taxes are in line, their super contributions are accurate, and they're just sorted. And I think it could be the perfect thing for Geelong. Because they're not worried about anything outside of footy except for playing for footy, because Big James is here and he's going to make sure everything's good off the park.
But he's just got him because like such an old list as well. He's just like getting all their super like sorted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're just
like
making
the
sure that
retirement
retirement's
funds.
set up.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, just keep it in your shares there. It's
Diversity.
Gonna be all right. Yeah, look, don't put it into cash, all that sort of
But I'm going to
stuff.
say Mitch Nevitt. He's going to make the
Nevitt with a K.
yeah. Going to make the most immediate impact. He's a tall midfielder from down Geelong way. Could say Toby Conway, but young ruckmen generally take a little while.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Toby Conway has the best career.
Yeah, I think
He'll be the one we remember.
I think he might end up being sort of like from what I've seen of his ruck work, he looks like, because of like the way he lumbers around, he could be like a cross between like a Sean Darcy and like a Matty, not as athletic as Matty Cruiser, but Cruiser looked like he was going slowly when he wasn't, and just the way he lumbers around looks a bit similar. So like Geelong will be hoping they get a career between those two guys.
This is a very Geelong. This is a very Brisbane type pick for us. It's like we're trying to pick a player that probably won't play for a year.
And that's like, there's no way that he, as just a footballer, was better than a few of the options that came after. But
Yeah.
needs based, 100% needs based. This pick, because Geelong's got John Segler
Yeah.
for a little while, but
Yeah.
I mean, what's he going to do long term?
Well, I think I like looking at the James Willis. He actually looks all right. Like we take the piss out of him, but he actually looks.
I
Pretty
hope he
good.
plays in his
And, like,
glasses.
he warranted pick 32. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's higher than if like you pick Garrett McDonough to make a name for himself. Arlo Draper, Zach Taylor. Like he's gone before them. But yeah, I think it's. Well, I could probably say Nevitt as well. But what about, just as a funny little fact here, they got rid of, no, I won't say Max, Nathan Kruger,
Yeah.
and brought in Flynn Kruger. They're like, nah, can't have too many Krugers. And they knew they were bringing in Flynn, so they're like, Nathan, yeah.
Yeah, and
Kruger.
Sonia's there doing something. I wonder
Sonia
what the Krugers-
Kruger.
No homers.
What's the Kruger from National...
Chad Kruger.
No, what's that? National Treasure. The
Oh,
chick in
that's
National
a
Treasure.
movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, who's Diane Foster? No. Here we go. Diane Kruger. Yes.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she's in that. Oh, bloody, better move on. Gold Coast.
Mac Andrew.
Yes,
Could be the world's tallest midfielder at 200 centimetres.
but he won't make the biggest impact on this team because
Nah.
it will be pick number 63, Charlie Constable, who is the most hard done by bloke in the AFL. That poor fella has never played badly.
Yeah.
And Geelong went, fuck off.
Nah, you're under 26, sorry. You can't
Yeah.
play.
Oh, right. So he was already playing.
He
He
actually
already
got
played.
picked up in the main draft, but he was a delisted player.
He's that, like, I mean, Gold Coast obviously found out late that they had a need for a midfielder once Hugh Greenwood decided to leave.
I think they were getting him anyway. I
Yeah,
heard
but
that, yeah.
but like that Constable, that's a really nice pick. And he's still young. Like, how old is he?
Yeah, he's only about 22, 23.
He's younger than bloody McDonough. Charlie Constable,
No.
22. He turns 23 next year, so he's pretty much draft age.
Yep.
And he wins the footy. He loves getting the footy.
He loves it.
Charlie Constable will be the best player for. He could honestly be a top 3 player for Gold Coast.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, that's like they've got enough. They got Swallowed, being a defensive-minded player. If Charlie's not doing the most defensive stuff, but he's getting 35 touches.
Yeah,
That's what you want.
yeah, and they'll have Took Miller, and they'll have one of Lukosius or Anderson be incredible.
Is
And
he left-footed, right-footed?
Left-footed.
Oh,
We did determine it was left-footed, and he's lying to himself. Sort it out, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
Classic Hudson moments.
But yeah, Mac Andrew will be good, no doubt. But 5 was a stretch.
Yeah. Nah, well, I don't know. I think it's all based on upside. But
Okay.
Gold Coast notoriously haven't been the side for players to develop into stars at necessarily. So I'm
To be fair,
curious to see.
To be fair, though, you say that, and they did have Gary Ablett at the time, but they did bring in later in their career, what's his name, Lockie Werler.
But I mean...
David Swallow was drafted by them, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean
But-
more, for example, like Rankin and Lukosius that generally were regarded as the most skilled players in their whole draft and so far have been okay.
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind that their last, before Mac Andrew, their last 2 first picks were Matt Rowell, who's done a knee and shoulder.
And Anderson's been good.
No, and Elijah Hollins, who hasn't
Hasn't
played.
played.
So they've got those players there available. And Rankin's one of those players, if the feeding's good,
Yeah.
he'll eat. But the problem is that he's getting the ball kicked to him 10 metres away, and it's like he wants it. He'd kick it to his chest and he'll turn someone. That first game he played against Melbourne, he kicked 3, and it was like, oh my goodness gracious.
It was great. And then, he's just sort of...
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Righto, next one
GWS.
in the G's, GWS, and I am going out on a limb, and I'm saying legally.
It will be legally, but also this website's given them an A+ for their draft. I'm going to say no.
Wow,
I didn't have
no?
them as a winner on this night.
Why not?
Because they were a team that went best available talent entirely. I think they would have been better served grabbing Josh Gibcus or Mac Andrew at their pick instead of Finn Callahan, because Finn Callahan will do what a lot of players that are midfielders that get drafted to GWS do, which is rot on a forward flank until he requests to move somewhere else.
But, yeah. But that's more of a reflection on the club than him.
Oh, of course, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
So, like, they're drafting. If I was GWS, I would have gone. Probably wouldn't have ended up with Lee Kalir, to be fair. I would have ended up with Gibcus at the first pick, and then I may have even looked to have traded that pick that was at 13 and split that back to a team that wanted, for example, who was it that had 2 picks in the early
Richmond.
20s? Yeah, well, Richmond had a couple. Yeah, one of those teams that would have gone, hey, we'll take 13 because we rate someone there.
Yeah.
I would have done that. But that's just me. I'm not a bloody recruiter.
But yeah, I think it's going to be Lee Kalir because he's a marking defender. And I say this knowing that Sam Taylor and Isaac Cumming are still there and Lockie Keefe is to come back from an ACL. I just think they seem committed to developing because... what's that? Who played half forward, sometimes full forward for them? Zach Sproul.
Oh, yeah.
He showed a lot of games where it was like, are we sure? But they persisted, and towards the end of the season, he actually
played the
really
final
stepped
and
up.
played it right.
Yeah, and he took Finlayson's spot, and he had to get out to Port Adelaide and probably won't play there either. But yeah, I think Lee Kalir is... They've obviously picked him up at 15 for a reason because he wasn't expected to go that
Mature
high.
age as well.
Yeah, he's my pick, but Josh Fahey will be really nice. I think Fahey's kind of he seems to be a long-term replacement for Haynes.
Now, this question, right? So, you know how like names in certain, like Smith is a very common like English surname.
Yeah.
Now, for the Sudanese guys, we've got Alir, but now we've got Lee Kalir, but they're spelt differently.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is Alir in its own right a very common surname amongst that nationality?
Why are you asking us?
Because I think like it's quite there's a handful still of Sudanese boys that play in the AFL.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we've got 2 of the last names like the same. Like, is that just completely coincidental, or is it a common last name?
And they're also marking defenders.
And they're also marking defense. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's just I just thought that was actually pretty interesting.
Coincidence.
Well, because they're going to play against each other, and if you're listening on the radio,
It's Alir versus Alir.
Well, it'll be like Alir's marked intercept mark, and it's like, oh, who fought?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting.
Next one, Hawks. I'm I'm just going to say that I think it'll be Josh Ward, but Gratsy can do all the talking. And we'll cap it. What have I got here? I got a time. You've got 3 minutes max.
Yeah, don't worry, I can do it.
Get through it.
I'm bloody doing it too, mate.
Already 40 minutes in. So.
Yeah, so time starts.
Yeah, Josh Ward has already won our time trials. He's a freak. He ran 5 minutes 50 in his combine 2 kilometre. He grew 3 centimetres through the year. He's basically a Zach Merritt, Sam Walsh.
Oh, yeah, he's good.
Exactly what Hawthorn,
I like them.
Yeah, I know
exactly what Hawthorn needed. If he can live up to any hype of those sort of guys, we'll be stoked. Ned Long, the interesting one that fell. So here's a good one. Hawthorn have 2 Neds on their list.
Yeah, right.
Are they the only 2
One's-
Neds in the comp?
No, there's a Ned Moyle that plays. So this is
Oh, yeah,
Ned
Gold
Moyle
Coast.
is a ruckman.
Yeah.
Ned Reeves is the tallest player in Hawthorn history. Ned Long is 194 centimetre, 94 kilo mid. So the new nicknames at Hawthorn, Ned Reeves. So Ned Long is Ned Long, and Ned Reeves, who's 211 centimetres, is Ned Longer.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. Connor McDonald was the interesting one. I think he's going to be our version of like James Jordan, what he offers. So win the ball, get the tackles, do all the grunt work, go unnoticed a little bit, but it's like he had 25 and 7 tackles. What happened? Very excited about Sam Butler. We wanted him from the start. Probably the second best draft video as soon as they went to him live.
But that's because his brother was there.
Well, because his brother Dan, that Richmond Premiership player and St Kilda player now, was there with his Great Northern cap, his handlebar mustache, and he was just smashing furfies.
Nice.
So the family was celebrating. And then
You got to question the commitment.
Yeah.
Wearing a Great Northern hat and drinking Furfies.
Yeah.
So where you
doing?
going?
And then Caleb Sarong's brother Jai, who was 14 centimetres taller than him. So
Yeah.
Caleb might be the better footy player, but do you reckon you'd just be like, what happened genetically here? Come on, that's a bit unfair. But I think Josh
Well,
Ward...
don't talk to Simo about siblings that are massive.
Yes.
Well, that's actually...
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I couldn't be more... I think this is going to turn around our whole next decade, just this one draft.
Goodness. And all in a minute 55.
Yeah,
well
well
done,
done.
Zach.
Well
But
done.
Josh Ward, we agree. I'm glad.
Yeah, Josh Ward. Melbourne, I'm not going to spend much time on it because I think it's a Brisbane situation again, but Jacob Van Rooyen.
I had them as one of my winners.
Yeah, but they do win because Van Rooyen's going to... He'll replace... what's his name? Sam Wiedemann. And
Well, he will,
over
but
the
also I
years,
think
he'll
it'll
replace
be...
Ben Brown.
Tom-
But he
I
could
think
be.
he's going to replace Tom McDonald because he's a swingman.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's also... But they rated Blake Howes at their first pick, but Van Rooyen was still there. They took Van Rooyen because they rated him a little bit higher, and Howes slipped to their next one. And Simon, their third pick, surely you know his dad.
Brownlow medalist in 2000.
Well, there's a few. I've noticed there's a few father sons going on here.
Yeah, but...
Whoa! What is he good for? Shane
Yeah.
Woden.
Yep.
Taj. Probably doesn't play, but you got to give him a go.
They got him. Well,
Got to give him a shout. Straight into the next team because we all know who's going to make the biggest difference, and it's Jason Horne-Francis at North Melbourne.
could be the next Gary Ablett.
He's going to be incredible. He'll start at half forward, and in no time at all, he will be the best midfielder in the comp. You'll blink, and then you'll realise that Jason Horne-Francis is incredible.
And the most underrated pick they had was Josh Goda.
Goda?
Because I had Goda as one of my probably top 15 ranked players in the draft just for what he offers. And his kicking's a bit suspect, but his athleticism is without question in this draft pool.
Yeah.
And I think that if he just gets his kicking right, he's going to start on a half-back flank, they've said.
Cool.
And then
That's good
maybe
on
move
him.
into a midfield.
The other one, another father-son, Syme, you might have seen the surname there, one of your gloved friend from North Melbourne.
Yeah.
Much gloved friend.
I wonder whether he would get the gloves handed down to him.
I hope it's like a ritual, like the day he got drafted, Glenn got down. He's like, Jackson, I present to you my gloves.
No, he's my
But,
rib from that time that it fell
No,
out.
I kind of feel like if it's Glenn Archer handing down the gloves, he'll slap him with it like he's challenging him to a duel.
Right, next team, Port Adelaide. Average draft, but they didn't really need anything to...
They traded up to get Josh Sin, who's like a freaky left foot back flanker, but I thought they were stacked for back flankers, but we'll wait and see.
they've got the Frederick brother,
Darcy Burn-Jones,
Darcy Burn-Jones.
Lockie Jones.
Yep. They did get rid of Hamish Hartley.
Dan Houston.
Yep. I
So-
guess maybe Dan Houston is earmarked for a midfield spot that we all thought he was going to get.
Maybe. They need another midfielder, right, in my opinion. But
Yeah. But, yeah, I'd never even heard of anyone else except for...
Huge Jackman.
Huge Jackson.
They do have another father-son selection.
Jace Burgoyne, Peter's son.
I know. Look,
Poiter.
everyone's going to be worried because there's some really troublesome names coming through. Like, you can't sleep on them because their dads are great at football.
Yeah, and it's not like they're not like father-sons from like dudes that played 101 games.
Yeah.
It's like Shane Woden, Brownlow medalist.
Yeah.
Son. It's Glenn Archer, one of the best defenders in North Melbourne history. Son.
Sam Darcy.
Yeah, like Luke's a fuckhead, but
Ah!
Luke's
No, he was
he's
one
all
of the best
right.
players.
He's all right.
I think he won an AFL MVP.
Yeah, very, very, very good footballer, but
Yeah.
Prime probably need to look at these.
He shouldn't be
their
commentating
employment.
any Bulldogs.
But he's
games
coming.
now.
He's coming in pick 2. So
Yeah,
he's-
good on
he's
Sam
obviously gotta
Darcy.
be good.
We'll get there on him.
He's still
Sorry,
growing.
yeah.
He's like up to 204 centimetres, I think. But he's not even a ruckman. He's like an athletic forward. Are we keeping you awake?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we're keeping you. We better get going.
It's real hot in here.
Yeah, it is. I'm still.
Nah, so we're powering through this.
My
We're nearly
shin
there.
sweat's still there. This one's going to be a really interesting one because they had some good high picks. Richmond. I think Tyler Sonsi.
Yeah, I'm going to say Gibcus. There's only question marks at the moment over Sonsi's. He slipped from being a top 5 to being that far down.
Didn't he get injured though?
Yeah, but I think there's been, and I don't want to speculate too much. There's been some question marks over his professionalism, which
Okay.
is to do with why the injury wasn't healing. Sam Banks, though, have you heard of him?
Nah.
The only Tassie boy picked up. And if you watch his highlights, he's built like a man already, and I think he'll actually be one that
Yeah, okay.
can make an impact. And
He
a
will also be a man.
name that I think might have
will
been
be a
invented
man.
by his parents, Judson Clark.
Judson. Oh, there you
The
go.
first Judson.
That's
Yeah.
that's the first Judson.
Yeah, I think there was just a letter that went wrong.
The goal cunts.
Mugson.
Sorry. Why'd you push that one?
Oh well, slip of the tongue.
Oh. Okay.
So
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
I
we
still think
talked about
on
them
the
before.
birth certificate,
That
they were doing
makes
on the
sense.
computer, and J and H had
Yeah, they're next to each other.
and they went, "What's it? Hudson Clark? No worries, bang. Oh, sorry. Once it's done, it's like
Yeah,
you
it's in.
can't fix it.
Judson.
Your son's name's Judson.
Yeah, Gibcus is a good shout because he's replacing David Asprey and
Alex Rance, long term.
Alex, who's the fella that
Bolter and
has
Gibcus
gone
now for the next
to
decade.
Wang? Garthwaite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Garthwaite.
That's right.
Tom Brown is a similar thing, but not as good as Gibcus. But yeah, I just think Sonsi is like he replaces Trent Cotchin.
In 5 years, yeah, definitely. But
And
I don't think straight away.
No, I think they look at him straight away. I think they get him some time. Having watched them last year, I don't think they're sold on what's his name, Hugo Ralph Smith, and who's the other
yeah,
midfielder,
Collie
Collie
Dawkins.
Dawkins. Yeah, I just don't think they're sold. And then Thompson Dow came in. It was a similar boat where they were like,
Yeah.
he's playing because we need him.
Yeah. Anyway, they won flags. So
St Kilda.
it'd
I
be-
think based on because you'll actually play Nazaya Wanganeen Miller.
Yeah. What about Machito
Yeah, how cool.
Machito.
Owens?
Japanese.
Yeah, he is.
Well,
That's
he's
sick.
Next Generation Academy, I think.
Yeah.
Must be heritage.
That's
yeah,
cool.
he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Japanese.
I think he'll make
descent.
the biggest impact.
Machito.
Yeah, but I think Wanganeen Miller will be the box office draw as
Now-
time moves on.
Wanganeen, no relation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Gavin's
Nephew.
nephew.
Oh, see, that's another bloody.
That's why I was
troublesome-
real.
Oh,
I really
for
wanted
goodness
him
There's
at
some
Essendon.
surnames in
Yeah.
this.
I wanted him at Essendon because
There's some-
Gavin is. I think we did our top 5 players of all time on this podcast a while ago, and Gavin was number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really disappointed that Nazaya went to St Kilda, but Essendon did get Gavin's son. He's training with them, Tex. So
Yeah, how good.
you win some,
Yeah.
you lose most, but as I always say, you do win some.
Yes, but the right names are coming through in the father son. I'm very excited because
Yeah.
you don't want to see a Roberts Thompson come through or anything like that.
I'm so glad
Speaking
you
of
said that.
Sydney, pick 34, Matthew Roberts.
Oh, close.
Oh. They were interesting. So Corey Warner, so that's
Brother of
Chad who plays at Sydney.
brother of Chad.
Yeah.
Brother of Chad.
Um,
Talking about Chad.
Angus Sheldrick was the
He's
interesting
very
one
good.
that
I think he's
shot
very
up.
good. I really,
I
he'll
think
be
he's gonna
very
pretty
good.
good. And all we'll really talk about is the pitcher, because is that our man?
Brett Kirk
Yeah,
was in the
Oh,
room.
God.
We won't finish with it again.
No, we
as
won't.
tempting as it is.
But yeah, I
bugger.
think I don't know a lot about most of these people. I think
Matty Roberts is one of those like just sort of slower, hard-working midfielders that will come out one week and have 35, and the next week have 4 touches,
Yeah,
basically.
I think it's Sheldrick.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it'll be Sheldrick for sure.
Yeah, contested ball, winning ball. And you know why I think it's Sheldrick? Because I think Luke Parker moves to a half-forward
I
role.
think he could
And
do
he takes over from Luke Parker and
I want
a
him
very, very aging Josh P. Kennedy.
I want him to for super coach purposes.
Oh, Josh.
Right, what we got? We've got 2 teams left, guys. We're almost done in this hot box. West Coast.
Interesting that they traded back to get Campbell Chesser, who's a
Yeah.
back flanker, and maybe they knew that Brad Shepherd was about to call it.
Yeah, and that's why he's my pick.
Yeah, I think so. But Rhett Bazzo, there he is.
Brett Bazzo. What a bloody...
Oh, actually, I'm just reading this. There is...
I know who's going to make the biggest impact.
Yeah, and I bet ya it's pick 62, Greg Clark.
Greg.
Greg, little baby Greg.
No, so he's mature age.
I've referenced...
But he was a baby.
He was.
I've referenced the baby thing twice, but I will explain it. It's just funny because you think of him as a baby, and there's no little baby Gregs or baby Neils. Like that's
Yeah.
odd. That's
Yeah.
an odd thing. But I always in context of them being a baby.
But they had to have been at some
they
point.
had to have been.
It's
Like,
basic
not that
science.
I think he's 24, so like
Yeah,
only
yeah.
24 years ago.
On your Greg.
Greg.
I did say when we got to just as a little tidbit, pick 57. I think what were we pick 50 something, and we picked McDonough. I actually really like Jack Williams because I thought he was the answer to our second forward situation.
Yeah.
Because he actually, in the WA Colts averaged more than Amos and Van Rooyen in every stat except goals.
Yeah.
And he fell to 57. And
he can offer rock relief.
Amos went at 9 and Van Rooyen at what, 19, wasn't he, at Melbourne or
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
Campbell Chesser straight in for Brad Shepherd will be a good footballer, and especially if Duggan moves more into the midfield as we thought. Western Bulldogs is a hard pick because it is Sam Darcy, but I don't think Sam Darcy's going to be good.
I think it's a big call.
Yeah, that's my big call from the whole draft, and I texted you this as soon as he got picked.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, not sold.
Now, I said that it's a chance that one of Googlehagen and Darcy don't live up to the hype, but at least one of them will.
Yeah, and I think based on last year, Ugo Hagen actually played really nicely.
When he played, yeah.
Yeah, so I worry. I just don't think it's
And-
Sam. It's all. And the thing is, they always say early picks, you've got everything to lose, especially when your dad's a 300+ gamer at
Yeah.
the Dogs.
And again,
Everything to lose.
Western Bulldogs, I don't know if it's their next pick. Arthur.
It's the first Arthur in a
baby
long time.
Arthur.
Jeez.
It's the first one in ages.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Arthur Jones and Luke Cleary probably went a bit late to really add much, especially on a grand final losing team.
Yeah, so
Sam
we'll
Darcy's
see.
going to glow. Sam Darcy will go the closest to playing,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Well,
it will set the world
They've
alight.
replaced Easton Wood in the trade period with Tim O'Brien as an
Yeah.
intercepting defender. We'll see how that goes. But the moment we've all been waiting for, and I think we know number one, the top 5 names.
Top 5 names according to the most popular and the most famous Water Barrels co-host Simon Isles.
Well, no, I'm not too sure. Well, Rhett Bazzo's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah, good. Love that for you.
Arlo Draper, son of Don Draper from Mad Men.
Yep, I think that's actually true.
Yeah, so I'm pretty into that.
Nice.
There's Chad Kroger's son.
Yep.
What's his name?
Freddie Krueger.
Oh,
Ready?
Freddie Krueger. Yeah, that's another Krueger, isn't it?
That is
Yeah,
another Krueger.
isn't he Edward Scissorhands' brother?
Oh, God. Yeah, probably.
All the same family.
Imagine if that was a tie-in.
Eric
It's like
Roy.
Freddy Krueger's actually like Edward Scissorhands, but like something like he got dropped in a hot vat. And
But then they
died.
both turn out to be good and open a gym's mowing.
How good. I want to know the story before. Like Roy Benning.
Yeah, that's
Eric
a good one.
Roy Benning. So who's Roy?
he's-
what's the Roy situation?
who's that?
It's in quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
'cause-
don't know either.
Because it's
Where?
like if that's on your.
Type in Eric Roy Benning.
I find that interesting because if you get your driver's license, you can't just put a nickname in there.
Yeah, why's Roy in there?
Simon.
Just like his name's Roy now.
Simon Simo. Like, what do you mean?
Benning, who is known by his middle name Roy.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay,
just-
so it's
but-
like one of those forms where it's like you do like first name, middle name, surname, what you want to be known as.
It's probably that. But imagine if everyone did that with their middle name, or we just started doing it.
Tonka. Like
I'm just
Big
yeah.
H.
I'm gonna start like.
Big H.
On my fucking driver's license, Big H
It
makes
just
thing.
makes someone look so mysterious. Like there's a huge backstory to it.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, there must be. We Googled it.
If we all had our time over again and ever had Tinder and you had to put your full name on it, I reckon I'm just doing the... Imagine that. It's like, oh, this guy's mysterious. He's the sort of guy you'd see on his own at a bar drinking whiskey.
Roy, is that what you're saying?
Just anyone who's got, like, their middle name with quotes around it.
Yeah. Like, oh, God.
Righto, so what do you got? Rhett Bazzo, Arlo Draper,
Eric Roy Benning.
Roy Benning.
I like Marcus Windhager.
Yeah, not bad.
And Machito. Machito would be
So
cool.
Judson, no doubt, no.
I don't know.
That's just
Weird.
stupid.
Do you know how many Joshes there were at the top of the draft, by the way?
Hey, Josh. Let's have a look.
Josh.
And I love that.
Whoa, there is quite a few.
Next page, surely.
Josh Ward.
Josh.
Oh, Josh. Hobbsy. No, I don't know.
No, good on you. So, final top 5 names from the 2021 AFL Draft according to Simon Isles. Rhett Bazzo, Arlo Draper, son of Don.
Eric Roy Benning, man of mystery.
Yeah, and you did have Kruger in there, Flynn Kruger, son of...
I thought there was a Kroger.
Arthur Joe.
I thought there was a Kroger.
No, it
in
was
there.
Kruger.
Jacob Van Rooyen, who is the next bloody striker for Man United.
Yeah.
Van
Replacing
Nistelrooy.
Van Nistelrooy, yeah, not bad.
Rude.
But yeah, what was your top 5? Fuck, here we go. Now, this is where the podcast delves, like, just turns to shit, isn't it? What have we got again? Rhett Bazzo,
Oh, I don't know.
Arlo Draper,
Did we run through all
Eric
of them?
Roy Benning.
And look, just Rhett Bazzo. That's
Yeah,
my boy.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Forget the other 4.
He's my guy.
Good.
He's
All
my
right.
guy. I'm looking forward to the father-sons because I'm going to know who they are.
Yep.
And looking forward to see what Melbourne do because I've seamlessly just forgotten about Sydney and I'm just a bandwagoner.
Wait, did you go for Sydney? I
Yeah.
thought you always went for Melbourne.
Nah, jumped.
Oh, I was trying to set you up for like a non-bandwagon thing. Like
Nah,
you were just,
I'm
you-
bandwagoning.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, oh, he's always gone for Melbourne. He just mispronounced it
No.
when he said Sydney.
Nah, because I like Nathan Jones.
well, he's not there.
No, I know, but I'm saying from
Oh,
a couple
okay.
of years ago.
What
he was
about how
good,
he's
so-
one of his new kids' names is a cartoon dog?
Well,
Pluto.
Odie.
Odie, that's cute. But also I like New Balance as well. That's their sponsor.
Yeah.
We love
Yep.
New Balance.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What beer did you
Do
have?
we?
Because like, you've had it turned around the whole time.
Oh,
I've not
yeah,
seen
sorry.
what it
I've got the Mountain Culture White Bay collab Grandma's XO, the cold IPA.
is. Nice. I have the Benspoke hop juice. So
I
have to
have
drive later.
Badlands Brewing, acronym abuse. NAPA. NEPA? I don't know what it is.
NAPA.
Is it NAPA?
Sure.
Is it
don't
good?
know.
What would you give it out of 5?
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. It was hot, so it's a 10. Maybe even an 11.
Oh, God. For some reason, I thought the beer was hot. No,
Yeah,
the weather's
okay.
hot.
No, it's hot
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here, so it's an 11 out of 5.
This is so full of flavour for 4.8% that it's like bloody. Like, oh, you could session these nearly. But
Yeah.
it's like so fruity. It's very delicious.
No, it's good. How was that, Hutto? I'm pretty, because I love everything mountain culture.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah, and I'm really into the cold IPA.
4.25.
Oh, really?
4.25.
Yeah, there you go. I would say, I don't know, 3.75.
Okay. But you didn't give a number?
This is probably, for what it is, a 4.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we'll
That's
do
about
this again
it.
at some point. But maybe
What
probably
do
won't
we
be
got?
footy related next time. Maybe it'll be Ashes cricket.
yeah, or
Be Bash cricket.
wine.
Yeah,
The wine
border
club.
barrels. We need to access the other barrels.
Yeah, see, we did have the bourbon barrel beer that Simo did not enjoy.
No, but that's my own fault. When I was 17, I drank a whole bottle of bourbon. Everyone's got a story like that, and I just can't do it.
Does that tie into your Food Works story where you fell asleep in the bathroom?
It may do. Listen, it may do. Anyway, cool. Are we wrapping it up?
Yep.
Yeah,
Righto.
may as well. That's under an hour.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
So you can listen to this on your drive to work.
Yes.
If you live an hour away.
and yeah, if you work where we live, you might have to do a couple of laps
Yes.
to listen to the whole thing on your way to work.
Yeah, just
and tell
leave early.
Yeah, leave early. Leave really early.
Yep.
Cool.
Couple of Macca's
drive the
drive-thrus.
Weir Road.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, go and get a bloody coffee on a Saturday. No, you
Go
have
to Mugachino on a
Mugachino.
fucking
Nearly
Saturday morning.
there.
Mugachino on the go, which is
Yeah.
bloody Mugachino. I'm telling you what, they need like traffic control outside that bloody joint because it just goes
The cop
down.
with the...
Yeah. Oh, how funny. All
People
right.
that have more patience than I is what I think when I drove past them.
Absolutely. Righto, we'll wrap it up. Border barrels coming at ya soon. But for now, we're going to have an afternoon nap
Hope you had fun, guys.
together.
Oh.